Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another Wildflower Live. Hope we are all well and having a good week. We'll wait for a couple of people to come on. This week we've got a really exciting live. I think it's going to be full of positivity, full of the good feels. I've got my Life is Good jumper on because I have got one of the most positive people in the world with me tonight. So I cannot wait to introduce her to you all. I think she's with me now. Before I bring her in though, what I am going to say is if anybody today is feeling like they need a bit of a kick up the bum, they need to know their reason why, they need a bit of motivation, I've just watched on the One-to-One Diet YouTube page all of the slimmer shortlisters, the big reason why, and it was in all of their VTs, and it's got me feeling motivated watching them back. They are so impactful and inspirational that if you need that, head over. It's 2 minutes that will just fire you up and you will reconnect with your own why as well. And maybe if you're not sure what your why is, it may help you figure that out. So definitely go and check that in now. So excited. I'm going to have to redo the camera because I'm going to get put up here. Hi.
Hiya, how are you?
I'm good. I was just saying I'm going to have to redo my camera now because it it moved
I know,
around.
it moves us.
Oh, how are you, my darling?
I'm good.
Oh, it's so lovely. I love them both in pink, first of all.
Yeah?
I think more salmon, but the pink is out. And I'm so glad that you have agreed to come on to do a live with me. These lives I do every week to offer some midweek motivation and kind of get people thinking and give them a bit of a tidbit of advice that they can take with them through the week, which I think we're quite similar in doing, because I'm sure we'll get on to the fact that you and the lovely Nell do something very similar every week as well. But before we go down that road and get to know all about what you do now in the community, do you want to tell us all a little bit about who Heidi is? How did you come to where you are now? Because I'm sure there's more of a story than maybe meets the eye. I think you're so positive, but there's always a backstory to things. So take us right back to when you started Plan.
Sure. So when I first decided to start Plan, I was not in the best place, I would say. I felt completely hopeless, really, about my weight and where I found myself, and my health was really suffering. And I thought, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything and I can't fix this on my own. I don't know what to do. And I literally was about to make an appointment to see my GP to say, I just want gastric band surgery. Just give it to me. I don't know what else to do. And then I thought to myself, well, if I do that, they're going to put me on a liquid diet. So why don't I look at meal replacements? And at the time, I didn't know that the one-to-one diet wasn't just a shake diet. I didn't realise that we have so many products that we
So
do.
many. I was the same though. I got to the point where I think at the beginning of the December, I'd started looking into bariatric surgery. I was looking to get the sleeve, and I thought the same thing. I was like, Rach, if you want to do this, they're going to put you on a liquid diet. Yeah. So you're going to either have to do it that way and then have really invasive surgery, or you can just try and do it properly.
Yeah. Exactly. So I looked for a local consultant. I found the lovely Nell, and it wasn't that long before Christmas. So when people say, oh, I'll just wait till Christmas is over, I turned up on her doorstep 7 a.m. on a dark Monday morning in the middle of November. So I really wasn't that far away from Christmas, but I thought,
no,
I know. I thought if I don't do it now, I won't do it. Like, if I don't just grab the bull by the horns, I'm not going to do it. I am going to put it off, and then, you know, things snowball. We all know how that feels, you know, and go, I'll do it later, I'll do it after this, and years and months roll by.
It does. I was the same. 17th of December, I messaged Jem. I waited until after Christmas to start.
Well, you were super close.
Yeah. But it was, I had that moment of like, I have to do this now. If I don't do it, and it is a real place of desperation, isn't it? When you get to that point, you're like, I need help. And I know you and Nell, you put your stories so beautifully that on your YouTube channel, and you kind of both take us in real detail through that beginning bit. And I remember watching that, the early parts of my journey, and being like, I'm not alone. Like, oh my gosh, other people feel like this. It's not just me.
Yeah, and that relief, I think, when I met Nell and went through the plan and decided what we're going to do, and I did feel that, like, oh my God, I'm not on my own. I'm not having to do this on my own. I've got someone in my corner, and they're going to tell me what I need to do. And I really didn't think to be honest, I don't think any of us at the beginning really believe it's going to work as such. Like, we're always a bit dubious. And it did. And I did step 1B and I really loved it. And the weight came off and I was so pleased. Yeah. And then later on in my journey, I mean, Nell had asked me to be a consultant a few times. I've been like, yeah, no, I'm not really.
I mean,
interested.
I'm not surprised. You literally everything someone could want in a consultant.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Yeah, and I've been like, I haven't got time for that. I'm not interested. Yeah. That's not for me. And also because in the back of my head, I kept thinking, I can't be a consultant. I haven't lost enough weight yet. Who would want to work with me? Like, I think we all have those thoughts, and it's totally not true. You can be a consultant even whilst you're still doing your own journey, and that's what I ended up doing. The pandemic happened, and I was. So
you chose the best time, like when everything was nice and stable.
Well, the reason I chose it was because I was working for myself already. And all my work fell away because of the pandemic, because I was helping other small businesses who now didn't have an income. And so they didn't need to outsource to me. I used to help people with admin. And I thought, I need to do something else. And I thought, oh, well, now I've been talking about this consultant thing. Let me go see what that's about. And at first I thought, oh, I'll just do it on the side. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll just see how it goes. But the minute I started, I remember saying to my husband going, I love this job. Like, I really love this job. Like, I don't want to do anything else. This is the most amazing thing ever. And very quickly, within a couple of months, I was saying, okay, this is it. This is my one, my one income, my all going to this. This is the thing that kind of all of my skills over the years doing different jobs, I felt like it had all built to be able to do this role. And it just suits me down to the ground. I absolutely love supporting my slimmers.
I'm so excited. Like I've been messaging some of my girls that are starting with me next week, and I've literally been sat in my bedroom chatting away with them with like the biggest smile on my face. And Jamie came in, and it was just like, this is just amazing. Like I just love it. I love speaking to people who you just get each other, don't you? Yeah. I think when you've been someone that struggled with your weight, there is such a joy in just not having to explain yourself to somebody. They just understand it. You haven't got to give a massive explanation or excuses for the reasons why. I get it. I was there. But I think it's nice for us as well, like still to hear other people and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I did that. That's exactly how I felt. And that kind of taking, like, I think it just breaks down barriers. I know that, you know, we both have done things on social media. Your post today was so beautiful, and I was like, yes. And trying to break down those taboos and being like, this is it all bad. This is how we all feel. So let's just all come together, and then we'll build each other up and be stronger for it. And already I can see how you get addicted to this job, because it is like that with every single call, every single like conversation you have.
Yeah, it's the best job in the world, really, because when I did the plan, I felt like I'd found this secret that no one else like seemed to know about that I knew. And I was like, oh my God, like everyone needs to know that this plan exists.
Isn't it like, how have I never known about this? Like, how have I gone to that same like group every week for 15 years and subsequently put like 10 stone on? And not known about this. Like it does very much feel like this little secret that you've kind of kept. But when you taking it back to when you were on plan, so how much did you lose when you did plan with now?
Okay, so I have done my weight loss in stages.
Which, do you know what? I think so many people do. I think actually my example of weight loss is not the norm at all. And for some people it works, and you go on this trajectory and you're like, yeah, I'm here, I'm skiing down the slope, like let's get to the bottom. For other people, they'll come down, we'll cruise for a little bit, we'll go down, like, and there's no right or wrong. It's whatever works for you, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, there is no normal, because we're all so different, and we can only do it the way that works for us. And for some people, that is 100% for a set amount of time to get to where they want to be. And for other people, it's doing it in little stages. So I initially lost about 2.5 stone with Nell, and then I had to take a break from plan. for financial reasons, which some people do find themselves in. So I really sympathise when that happens for people. And then I decided to become a consultant. I maintained my weight. Every time I've kind of taken a break, I've always maintained. And that has been the most amazing thing to me, because I'd never been able to do that. I'd never been able to lose the weight and know how to maintain. And I remember when I had to have the chat, well, I did the typical slimmer thing of messaging now and going, I can't do plan anymore, and then the whole shame thing, like I'm just telling you on a message and I don't have to speak to you anymore, and this is terrible, and I'm just going to hide. And she was so lovely. She came straight back and she went, that's fine, but you're going to come here for your normal appointment and we're going to have a chat about what you're going to do so that you can keep the weight off for the time that you've got now between you being able to start again. And I'm so glad that she did that with me, because I think having that chat with her and making a little plan was one of the reasons that I managed to then maintain after that. And then I decided to become a consultant. And then I lost a little bit more, then I maintained for a bit, then I lost a bit more. So in total, I've lost 5 stone.
It's amazing. And I think it's such a credit to you that you had those periods where you maintained, and I bet you learned more in those periods than you ever did during the weight loss period. But it's interesting what you said about going to Nell in that shame kind of bubble, and something I've really been thinking about this week, and it's because I've had so many like lovely people message about getting on plan and starting plan. And it's the fact that whenever we reach out to start something like this, we always do it for, well, not always, but I think a majority of the time there is shame attached to that.
Yeah.
And I really, really want to remove that. Like, I want to say to anyone who wants to reach out to a consultant, whether that's me, whether that's Nell, whether that's one of the amazing consultants that are out in this community, don't feel like you're being punished because you have to come on to plan. Like, I've seen a couple of things and heard a couple of things that really hurt my heart. So I was like, please don't go into it like that. Like, please don't beat yourself up like that, because we all find ourselves in positions where we need help, or we need a bit of a reset, or we need to kind of take account of just where we are. But that shame is so bad for us. It just eats you up. And I was really bad for that. After I had Poppy and I had postnatal depression, the shame that came with that and feeling the way I felt kind of compounded on with the weight. And I look back to my message to Gemma, and it was just full of it. It was just full of like me beating myself up. And it's so hard. And I know what I loved about you, especially within the community, whenever I first came in, was there was this real emphasis on a positive mindset and coming with it from a positive place. And I mean, your smile lights up a room, so it's hard not to smile whenever you see your face on stories. But did you find that your mindset had always been positive, or is that something you've had to work on quite a bit over the months and maybe years that you've struggled with your weight?
So I would say, in general, in all other areas, I'm a positive person, but not when it came to how I felt about myself and my weight. I still have, I still have struggles now. No one's perfect. We're not saying this is a magic pill forever and you never have to work on yourself. It's a constant journey that we're on. But I would beat myself up all the time and be really unkind to myself, and always get in there with the fat person joke before someone else could make it. Even if they were not going to say anything, I'd get in there first. I was always conscious of me and how much space I took up, and just the whole thing. You're just constantly I felt like I was constantly thinking about it. Every decision that I made in my life came back to, oh my God, you're so overweight, you're so terrible. Why can't you get a grip of yourself? No one else has this problem. You're a terrible person. You can never do this. You don't deserve it. All those things. And just the little things in everyday life of, like, I would go to networking for my business, and there would be like breakfast networking, and I would make sure that I got there early to put my nameplate on the end of the row of seats, so that I would make sure that I had enough room and I wasn't bumping into the next person next to me, and like all those little things. But I think those little things also add to the shame that you feel like you're having to think about it all the time. And
you're constantly reinforcing that message, aren't you? That like you're not good enough, there's something wrong with you, there's you know, you're not like everyone else. Why can't you be like everyone else? Everyone else can do it, okay? So why are you the only one that can't do it? And you perpetuate that narrative without
Yeah.
really even realizing you're doing it. Like you say, I used to try and get to baby group early because I'd be like, oh, I can go in the corner then, and then people won't watch me
Yeah.
when we got to get up and dance with the babies, and you know, I'm not going to be able to dance with Poppy the way they all are, so I'm going to just hide in the corner. And yeah, you do all these things. Me and Jamie didn't go on holiday to Edinburgh because I was like, I'm not going to fit in that seat. I am not going to fit in that airplane seat or without having to
Oh,
ask for that extender thing.
the
I was like, I'm
aeroplane
not doing
seat.
it.
I remember the summer before I started on plan, we went to Spain. My brother lives in Spain. We went on a family holiday and with them, and I remember coming back and getting on the plane we went, the seats were slightly more roomy, and I had to ask for an extender, but it was okay. There was room in the seat and I could get the tray down. On the way back, the plane was smaller. I had to ask for an extender, which seemed to only just be about the right length once it was attached as well. I couldn't put my tray down. My stomach was so far in front of me, I couldn't get my tray down. I put my little one next to me, in between me and my husband, so that I could use his lap tray and so that I had enough room. And the arms were just digging into my sides, like I could not move. And I just thought, but it still wasn't enough to make me start planning until later that year, you know?
And isn't it bad? Like it was the same for us. Like then I didn't start it, and yeah, I don't know why you let these things go on, and that's why I think it's different for everyone. Like people always say to you, and I'm sure you get it all the time, like what was made it different that time? What made it work for you that time? And it's like, well, I hit my rock bottom then, but
Yeah.
my rock bottom and what made me do it is going to be so different to you because, like you said, I've had all of those experiences that are awful, but it was never enough. That just probably, I bet you that night we probably just got a takeaway instead. We're like, oh, we're meant to be in Edinburgh tonight, but we're not. So should we just get a takeaway and just
Yeah,
make
you
this
just
all better with food?
exactly. You kind of a lot of people that have had a weight issue, we've used food as a coping mechanism. And I think also thinking about taking that away and knowing what it means to lose weight, taking the only coping mechanism you've really developed away is a really scary thought. And I think that can often stop us from losing the weight. But also because I was talking so badly to myself, you know, you tell yourself you don't deserve this, you're not going to be able to do it anyway, what's the point? You should just learn to be happy like you are, you can't change. And you tell yourself that so many times that you believe it, and it stops you from reaching out and asking for help. And also I think you're so scared about the reception you're going to get from another person when you have to say, do you know what, I can't do this on my own, could you help me? That shame thing keeps us from actually reaching out and doing the things we want to do, which is why I do try and create content that says to people, it's going to be okay, I've been there and we can do it together, and you're deserving of having the best life possible, and it is achievable.
100%. And I think it is. It's so scary. Like I've said before, like not even my husband knew my weight. No one knew my weight. It was never something I would tell anybody. And so for somebody to kind of trust you with that, when, you know, okay, to everyone, it won't mean a lot. Some people are bigger and their weight means nothing. It has no emotional tie, that number. I'm so jealous. That was not my life. My life was that number held so much in it. Like, and it wasn't the number, it was just what that represented to me. And it kind of encapsulated all this baggage I was carrying. But to tell someone that, it was almost like I thought, right, you can see me in front of you, you can see exactly how I look. But as soon as you know what this number is, your perception of me is going to be completely changed. So it's a massive thing. And for people then to find someone that they can give that to is they're treasuring their most like sensitive information with you. But what I would say is, I think that this plan, and because of how it's set up with that one-to-one support, instantly, I don't know about you with now, but for me with Jem, I just felt like I could relax. At the minute we started speaking, I felt like this massive weight was lifted, and actually sharing that information became a bit more of a relief versus a shame exercise.
Yeah, I totally think that. And I also think because the plan is so simple and structured, all that overwhelm that we feel about, oh my God, I've got to make all these decisions and I've got to know what this means and that means, and oh, I've got to choose a meal every like 3 times a day and I've got to be responsible for that. It feels a lot and feels really heavy and scary. And then for someone to go, oh no, it's really simple. This is what you're going to do. Here's your products. This is how it works. And you suddenly go, oh, that sounds a lot easier. And it gives you space again, space to breathe a little bit.
And we're not all amazing cooks. I am not an amazing cook. Right? It is not a skill my mother passed on to me. And so whenever you go to do other plans like I have in the past, it's like I need to go to like night school for cooking, because the recipes are so long, there's so many ingredients, and I find cooking very, very overwhelming. And this is why I'm like the laziest vegetarian, and all we ate was cheese and carbs, and probably did not help out my waist at all. But this plan was just so amazing, because I was just like, I'm gonna have a shake, I'm gonna have a bar, like, and it's just so simple, and you just can't beat that simplicity. And now, like, me and Jamie, like, we were talking about it today, because I've been up to step 4 this week, and I was like, I want to see something I can go without, like, products in the day, because just how convenient they are in day-to-day life. Like, you know, if you're busy with work, I'm sure you'll find it between clients and doing your admin bits. Like, I'm the same with meetings at the minute and things like that with work. I wouldn't be able to stand and cook breakfast in the morning or make things like that, but I can blitz up a smoothie or grab a bar really, really simply. And it's filling, satiating. You don't get those sugar spikes that you get, you know, if you're eating artificial sweetener and stuff like that. So you literally cannot fault it. And people always say, don't they, oh, is it like, what shakes do you do then? What are the shakes? You're like, it is not all about shakes. I didn't even have a shake for like 3 months.
I think I used to have 1 shake a day, but my other 3 products were not shakes.
No,
they were not shakes.
Why have a shake? And like, why have a shake? Like, some people, I think they go wrong on this plan, and they set themselves up for not getting the most out of it when they have that mindset of shakes I'll lose more weight on. No. In very limited circumstances, potentially the type of product you have could alter your losses, and mainly the bars. If you're particularly carb sensitive, maybe don't have 4 bars a day. But for the vast majority of people, go wild. Have whatever product you fancy.
Well, that's the beauty of meal replacement, is they're all essentially the same thing. So you're just going to pick the flavour you like. That's literally it. You can, if you want to do it all on spaghetti bolognese, go ahead, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do it. Didn't Nell say that she did the whole thing on chocolate Tetris whenever she did plan?
Yes, back in the day, because she started plan before reformulation. So yes, there was a much more limited range back then. We're so lucky that we've got like over 40 different products now.
I know. Do you know what? I am so excited because I've done direct to dieter my whole journey. There is so many products that when I did plan locally before I fell pregnant, I tried pretty much everything because I haven't had them in like 2 years now. I said to Jamie, I was like, I can't wait for it all to come. I was like, just you wait. Your taste buds are going to explode.
You'll be Charlie in the chocolate factory. You'll be, oh my God.
I know the DPD man will be coming up. I'll be running with a golden ticket.
You're going to have so much fun.
Oh, honestly, and this is the thing, like, I think that for me, they are delicious. Don't get me wrong, it's not everyone loves every single product, but for me, they are just, I don't know how they make them. I don't know what happens in that magic factory, but they are delicious. And as someone, I always say this, I was like, I was nearly 20 stone. I like food. I like food a lot. So I wouldn't have been able to do it if the products were crap, because I would be like, no, I'm going to go and have a Domino's, thanks.
Yeah, I always say that to new dieters. I'm like, I'm telling you they're nice, because if they weren't, I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't be here being a consultant now, because I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't have lost my weight if they were disgusting. They are so nice. I don't think there's one product that isn't nice. It's just some that aren't my taste, but they're all super yummy. I love them all.
This is the thing. Like, I remember, so when my friend Georgie started plans, I never remember her username, something Chins and I. Well, Jamie will watch this back and go, I can't believe you didn't even know your best friend's username, but she's amazing. She's doing step 4. But when she started, she was like, what are the nice products? What products don't you like? And I was like, okay, these are what I like. These are what I don't like. She ordered them and got them and was like, what have you just given me? She went, that's disgusting. That's vile. And I was like, well, I don't like these ones, so try these. And everything I was like, I don't like, she was like, those are the nice ones. So it is, it's just taste preference, and it's just trying a couple of things to find what it is you like and retrying. So I don't know about you, but I didn't like certain things when I first started Plan, and then I tried them again a couple of months later and I really liked them.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like the one reason that I used to take a shake when I first started Plan was I would take the vanilla shake because I was convinced it tastes like a McDonald's shake. I would still tell anyone it tastes like a vanilla McDonald's shake. I mean, I've not had a McDonald's shake in a couple of years now, so I might not be right. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm living my best life. This tastes just like a McDonald's and I'm losing weight. Are you kidding me?
It's so good. Like, obviously, I have a hot vanilla shake with coffee every single day. Like, it's almost as if Jem bewitched me or something. I just became a clone of her, but it's incredible. And for me, I genuinely am like, that is like a latte from Starbucks or Costa. And like, I don't know, like when you find something that is your go-to, and I'm very much a creature of habit, you know, I find what I like and I stick to it. And if you can just find a couple of these, you don't have to like all 52 products. Like Jamie's doing his whole journey on 4 products. The boy loves the breakfast smoothie. He loves himself a lemon bar and a strawberry and apple bar. And he gets down with a bit of spag bol and macaroni cheese.
Yeah, I mean, I did it all on 5 products. There were 5 products that I would pick up every time I got my order. I would have a vanilla shake, and I would have always have a veg soup for lunch. And then for dinner, I would either have cottage pie. We don't have it anymore, unfortunately, I'm afraid, guys. And spaghetti bolognese. So and then for snack in the evening, we also don't have these anymore. I would have a festive bar. But new festive products are coming, so I'm very excited about that.
Do you know what? I saw you put this up, and I said to Jamie the other day, because obviously I know it's crazy, guys, but 87 days for Christmas, stuff is coming out all of a sudden. I know, I'm so excited.
I'm a very much Christmas person, so you know, it's coming. I apologise now if I put lots of Christmas things on my feed.
I love it. Mandy's just said as well, I love the caramel bites. They are another one that I haven't had this time round, but I did have them before I fell pregnant, and I can't wait to have a bag of salted caramel
They're
bites.
one of the best products. They're amazing.
Oh, honestly, so good. But yeah, like the Christmas product, I saw you with a festive bar the other day, and all I've been thinking about this last week is mince pies and stollen. I've just been like, I can't wait for a festive product. I'm like, why waste 200 calories on a mince pie? Like, that's like full of, I definitely will. But last year I calculated I ate approximately 25 mince pies in December to myself. Gonna try and not hit that figure this year. Maybe just buy the 1 packet in December instead of like 6 packets. Little bit excessive, but no, like it is exciting, and they're constantly bringing new products out. That's what I love. Like you find what you like, and then every now and again they just bring some new things out. Have you tried the new step up meals yet?
I had the chicken casserole tonight, actually.
Oh, what was it like?
It was yummy. I really love them, and I think now is the perfect time of year for those step up meals, because most of them are very that warming. They're beef casserole, chicken curry, chicken casserole, chili with wedges, and you get a lot of wedges. You know, for those people that are like doing step 2 and they've not tried one of our step up meals, just give it a whirl, because they're delicious for 200 calories.
I can't remember who it was that I saw on here that said they picked out the wedges, patted them dry, and then put them in the air fryer, and then had the chili on the side with like crispy wedges. Obviously, you can have them together, just make it as a separate meal. But I think that those are the perfect addition if you want to do step 2, but you also don't want to have to cook. But you maybe want a bit more of a hearty meal in the evening, maybe with the kids or with the family.
Yeah, they're a good go-to. If everyone's getting a takeaway and you're like, I can't cook. It feels like you're having like a really full, hearty meal, like you said. And the chili with wedges also works very well if you add some pop squares for nachos for a treat at the weekend.
Oh, nice. I do like a pop square with like our tikka curry. And I always think when I see the chicken curry separate meal, I'm like, oh yeah, that with 7 pop squares would be absolutely banging. It'd be so, so good. Jem's just said about them being proper comfort food for the winter. Like, I started planning the winter. Like, it was like I went into hibernation for a couple of months when I started planning, and I just got my head down and got on with it. But honestly, things like the separate meals, I didn't have them. I did step 1B like you did, and I absolutely adored it for the majority of my journey. But I stuck to the veg and crouton soup every day. That was so warming and lovely.
Because you get croutons, Rachel.
Yeah, it's
on a low carb diet,
crunchiness.
those few croutons, they're a godsend.
I know. They're so good. And then I used to every day at 3 o'clock have my golden veg drink. And then I would literally sit and either watch one of your Now's YouTube videos, one of Siobhan's lives, one of Gemma's lives, and that would be my little time. Poppy was she had 2 naps back then in the good old days. Now it's down to 1, but that'd be like my little bit of time that I would just have to myself. But I think people can sometimes be scared entering into a plan like this in the winter, because I think, like you said, when food's a comfort, when it's getting cold outside, darker mornings, darker nights, we've got obviously Halloween, bonfire night, those kind of social events coming up, it can feel more daunting than maybe in the summer when it's like, oh, it's really warm, maybe I don't want to eat as much, I can have a salad on step 2 perhaps. Do you find that you get any reservations or any worries from your slimmers around this time of year as we're kind of transitioning into a new season?
Yeah, I think it can be more tricky, and as it gets colder and the heating comes on, like drinking your water and things like that becomes super important, sometimes more important than even in the summer, because we don't think about things like central heating drying up the air and all of those kinds of things when we're indoors. But I always say, like, lean into, there are comfort food type products there, like the macaroni cheese, like the spag bowl, you know, like the veg soup. Those kinds, the chicken noodle soup, the new one, oh,
so good. I absolutely love that.
So good. And use the golden veg flavouring, make your shakes hot. All of those things can really help at this time of year to give you that same warming feeling that you would have got from some of the other foods you might have been having before. So it's kind of, I always think what happens is people have been going great guns in the summer with the products they like, and then we come into the kind of autumn time and they go, oh, this isn't really working. And it's like, well, no, because you're not going to fancy 3 shakes a day in the depths of winter like you might do in summer when it's boiling outside. You need to change up your products. Think about it slightly differently. Put a few different things in there that are going to work for you this time of year. Because if you think about it, when we're not doing a diet, that's what we do. Like, we have more salads in the winter and more casseroles, and more salads in summer, more casseroles in the winter. So do the same with your products, switch them up to meet where you are in the season we're going into.
No, absolutely. And I definitely felt that going into the warmer weather, that I kind of change things up. And I think that, you know, explore the products. Like, that is what the range is there to have, is to explore and see what you like. And you haven't got to stick to the same things. Like, changing it up and trying new flavours will ultimately stop you getting bored, and it will keep the plan exciting for you. Because otherwise you will miss like warming food if you're just going to stick to what you had when it was 27 degrees.
Exactly.
Someone's just asked, shakes, is kettle hot water instead of normal water or microwave jobby? So I get asked, no word of a lie, about 5 times a day how I make a vanilla shake. So let's cover it off. So I get my Ninja mug. I put 200 ml of cold water. I do 400 ml of water straight from the kettle, teaspoon of coffee, shake, blitz for 7 seconds. The key with a hot shake is don't blitz it for long. Blitz quickly, get that lid off, all the steam will build up and it will go everywhere. But when I started Plant, I didn't have a blender. I used to use a soup mixer. Because
my mum uses a stick blender. She doesn't have a blender.
That's what I've got, is a little stick blender, and it worked fine. And for that, I literally get like a Pyrex jug, put a little bit of cold water in the bottom, top it up with hot water, and then I used to have the chocolate shake hot every night. So I'd put the chocolate shake in, blend it up, job's a good one. I think as long as you just put a little bit of cold in first, just to drop the temperature slightly, it's absolutely fine. But hot shakes are an absolute game changer.
They are. And if you've got a ready-made, then you just want to add hot water to it. You don't want to heat up that ready-made, because it will destroy the nutrients that's in it. So ready-mades, add hot water. And if it's a sachet, the way Rachel described, that's what you want to be looking at.
And the ready-mades are fantastic. The chocolate and the latte, I just add them to coffee. Like the latte, and what's hilarious is I've now got the My Protein vanilla shakes, not shakes, drops, and I put that in my coffees because then it tastes like a latte and go coffee because I haven't got
Yeah.
any latte and goes at the minute. So I use that in there because it's just so, like, I like a sweet coffee. Those are like things I would go for normally.
Well, I don't like coffee because I'm weird like that. But what I have been doing is the Beanies coffees. I've got one that's the maple pecan flavour. I
Oh,
put like the tiny bit, like half a teaspoon, if that, in hot water, and then make my shake like ice cold, my vanilla shake, and then mix them together. And it doesn't taste hugely of coffee. It gives it like a butterscotch flavour, and I've been
oh.
really loving that. So sometimes, even if you don't like coffee, getting a flavoured one and just adding a tiny amount can give you a bit of different flavour, and it's not like a really strong coffee flavour.
Yeah, because not everyone does like coffee. But I think that adding, like you say, adding flavours in to your shakes and kind of making them a bit different water flavourings I've added
Yeah.
into shakes. I love the raspberry and elderflower in a vanilla shake. It tastes like raspberry ripple ice cream. It's lovely. And I think that just, yeah, finding little things that work for you is key. And it will just keep,
Yeah.
like you said, it keeps you in the zone, enjoying the products. And if you're like, oh, that doesn't work, that's fine. Just try something else.
Yeah. It's all those little product hacks and little tweaks that you can do to keep it interesting, even though you're using the same products.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you put a lot of your product tweaks and things like that on Instagram, on your reels, on your IGTVs, and you are a fellow Instagrammer, blogger. I'm not so much a YouTuber. I've tried transferring some content over, but that's not my main platform. So was that something that you'd done previously, or was this all new when you started Plan? Because you're a bit of a pro.
No, it was all new. It was all new, but I have to say, I loved Instagram. Just like not even posting myself, but watching other people's content on
Mm,
Instagram. And I think you can learn a lot about how to promote your business just by watching other people on doing the same thing. Like I kind of learned how to post content, but also I just really love Instagram. I love how it works, and I found it really worked for me. So because I loved how it worked, I could understand how to apply that to my business so people got the same thing that I was getting from other creators that I followed. But it has been a journey of working out what things work better for me, or how I can maintain enjoying social media and still post things people want without it becoming too overwhelming, because it has felt like that at times. And I think we all go through those phases with social media. It can become a lot fast.
yeah,
Um,
no, really, it can.
yeah.
You've got to
And
have, I think you've got to have that kind of social media hygiene, I like to refer to it as. And you're right, like sometimes you need to just say, I'm going to step back for a couple of days, but it's hard. And especially when Instagram it involves your business, because
yes.
it is partly work as well. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
that
I
kind
tend
of
to find is I
brave.
hardly ever go on my personal Instagram now, because I spend so much time doing it for work, and then you kind of, when you're not doing it for work, you don't want to be on this. But for the YouTube channel, I had never done it before, and I said to Nell, oh, let's do one together, and she was like, really? And I was like, the reason I wanted to do one was because when I was first looking to do the plan, I tried to like stalk the internet for people that had done the plan to find out all the information. And I couldn't find anything on YouTube that I needed to give me the information about what is this plan? How does it work? Can you really lose weight with it? Like, what is this? Is it okay? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of like anecdotal testimony to Plan, I think, on YouTube. But what I would say, and this is with no kind of it's not loaded in any way, but it's normally quite short-lived journeys. It's people that
yeah,
have been quite not on Plan for very long. So you don't see that full journey. It doesn't really give you much other than what that first initial stage would be. And I think probably at the time when I started back in January, which probably wasn't long after you and Nell had started your YouTube channel, it was probably only Siobhan and SJ that were really on YouTube giving a more comprehensive view of
yeah,
what the plan was, other than, of course, the One-to-One Diet YouTube channel themselves.
yeah.
So I always found your content you balance very well, given your personal experiences with plan and weight loss and weight struggles, but you back it up a lot with the science and the reasoning behind things, and you kind of share that knowledge as well, which I think is balanced lovely, because you do want to know your experience, but I also want to know why it works and why you're telling me to do these things. So I think that you just have and you and Nell have such a lovely dynamic together. You do bounce off each other really well. Was she quite on board with your YouTube idea to begin with?
She wasn't that keen. I had to talk her into it. I had to talk her into it in the beginning, but I knew that if I did it on my own, it would be really easy to just be like, oh, this is a lot of work and I'm going to stop. And we both say that one of the reasons that we managed to consistently put out a video every week is because we don't want to let the other person down. And so that's how we've managed to stay consistent. And I think if we didn't do it together, I don't know if our YouTube channel would still be going, if you know what I mean, because there's only so much time you have to do everything. But we really enjoy it, and we really hope that the videos are helpful for people, and it fills that gap that people are looking for, just to get a bit more information on different aspects of the plan, or a bit more explanation of what it might look like, and to see people that know about the plan but have also done the journey. I think, like you said, it does give both sides of it, and you can see if it's for you or not. No, definitely. Like I said,
and it's nice that you started that your back catalogue with your stories and how you both came to be where you are now. And I think the fact you even cover, you cover everything. Honestly, guys, you need to go and make sure you check out their YouTube, because there's everything from why you may weigh more when it's warmer and you retain water, what happens when you go and see a consultant, either virtually or in face-to-face, what you should expect. That can be quite daunting. And I know that I was always one of these people that would plan my journey out in the car. Where was I going to park? What door was I going to walk in? Like you said, you carry these anxieties when you are bigger. And so things like that do really help ease those kind of nerves and anxieties that you may have. So if you haven't checked them out,
we try and imagine, remember what we felt like, and try and also remember that a lot of the things we talk about that we forget, like steps and this and that, they don't mean anything to other people. It's a bit jargon. So we always try to think, okay, let's break that down. What are we actually talking about? So it becomes a bit more accessible for people, because it can be a bit confusing if you've never heard of the one-to-one diet before.
So before we went on our essentials training, me and Jamie, on Saturday, I made him watch yours and Nell's step video, the one you put together, so it's like an hour long. I was like, you need to understand the steps. So
you made him watch the really long one, not even the shortened one.
Oh no, I was like, she's put it all together for you. You literally just need to watch. So you watch, and I'll have a quiz for you afterwards, and we'll go through it together.
Bless him.
But it is, and this is why I say I love it, because even for people, and I love how passionate you and Nell both are about your jobs and about your businesses, and that it isn't, you balance that very nicely as well, and that this is what it's like as a slimmer. But if you would like to be a consultant, or you're interested, this is what this looks like. And I know that was content I really enjoyed, because it was something that I wanted to do. And sometimes people don't explain what that process looks like. And, there's so much educational content to help new consultants be like I said for Jamie, these are the steps, because he's never done step 2. Well, he started this week, but he's never done the higher steps or understood the reasons behind the higher steps. So I think that it's such a fountain of knowledge on there. Is there going to be a podcast? Because that's my only thing that I want now, is a podcast from you both.
We have talked about it, but I'm not sure we have the time currently. But we have talked about whether we could just turn the YouTube audio into a podcast or something like that, maybe. So maybe it's something for the future. But I have thought about doing a podcast myself, just genuinely, on my own a few times. I just haven't quite figured out how I want to do it yet. So maybe in the future, who knows?
Oh, come on, I'll be your first guest.
You could be my first one. Yeah.
I love a podcast.
There's a lot of content. We put our videos out every Tuesday at 5, and we've been going for nearly a year, I think. So there's quite a lot of content on there for people.
Oh, yeah, you can go back and watch them all. And if you want, so I, for example, would watch them if I went out on a walk with Poppy. I know that's awful. I take my daughter out for a walk and I put my headphones in, but it was fine. When she was younger, she'd sleep. And I would make a playlist so that it just auto played one video after the other, and I didn't have to like try and find another one. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. But I say, so I was messaging a couple of my slimmers this evening, and you know, I'm loving that they're like, right, what do I do to get prepared? How do I get prepped for my first week on plan? And I'm like, carve time out in your day to relax and watch some content from someone in this community to inspire you and motivate you whilst you're relaxing. You know, I mean, I'm sure you'll love to hear this, but I would sit in the bath and I'd have you and Nell on my toilet seat and I'd just watch your YouTube videos in the bath. But I think it does. You just take little bits away, and sometimes I'll rewatch them because there'll be different things I take when I rewatch different things from people.
We do go over the same subjects again and again in slightly different takes and slightly different ways because, well, in the beginning, our videos were very long. Just going to warn you, if you go right back to the beginning, there was a big learning curve for us. Now they're a bit shorter. They tend to be under 10 minutes. Because it took us a while because we don't edit and we like a natter. So if you like chatty videos, they're for you. If you're not keen on the chatty videos.
I mean, if you're watching this live, you've put up with us for nearly like 45 minutes. So I'm guessing long form content is the way.
It's your bag. Yeah. So yeah, we are a bit chatty, but you know, we go over things at different times and we can't always say everything we want in one video, so we might revisit a subject and say different things that we didn't get time to say in the other one. So
I absolutely love it. If you ever want a third wheel on your YouTube, I am there.
Right, you're booked in now. No, you've said that.
Somebody here, Jenny King, has asked, and you'll be much better to answer this than I will, but is there a secret to how you girls are so organised with being consultants and having a family life? What I will say is, I am not fully fledged as a consultant yet, so get back to me in a couple of weeks when I'm crawling on the floor to get a coffee in the morning.
Jenny, it's an illusion.
Do you know what? It is an illusion. Like, there's only so much you can do.
That's completely organised. There just isn't. It doesn't exist.
Honestly, right, I came up here earlier on, so in my kitchen, you will have experienced this. I've got a box that could probably fit half my house in the kitchen, full of cardboard boxes for orders next week. I've got a Kallax in my hallway waiting to be put together. I've got a Christmas tree at my feet that needs to go up in the loft to come back down again in 6 weeks. Like, it's just, Jenny, is an illusion. We are all muddling through. Like I said this morning on my stories, I think it's not so much about being organised. Though I would say I am naturally quite organised because I've always been a little bit more anxious than maybe my peers. So organisation helps ease those that nervousness feeling. But it's about your priority list. And I think what I had to learn was that before I was trying to do everything and everything was like a level 1 priority, and things had to fall off and I had to actually prioritise my days. And if things didn't get done, I had to be okay with that. I think you can be weirdly, I find a lot of people that struggle with their weight are actually perfectionists.
Yes.
And I don't know why that aligns or why that happens, but normally people that struggle with weight are very black and white, very perfectionistic. And probably the biggest thing I've had to learn this last 9 months is to just be grey.
Yeah, it's that all or nothing mentality that we have with weight loss and everything that got us to where we need to be both times, with putting on the weight and losing it. And sometimes we try and apply that to our lives, and actually you need to find some middle ground somewhere.
This is it. And that middle ground is so hard because it's not a place you've been to before. And I always say that's why I picked Jem as a consultant, and different things about different consultants will attract you to them. But for me, it was always her maintenance journey. It wasn't a weight loss journeys didn't inspire me as much as maintenance stories, because I was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you do this bit? Because I don't think I've ever known anyone do this bit. And it is like people who are really successful at maintenance just seem to be able to prioritize a bit better and not be so hard on themselves if they're not perfect.
I think that's it. You can't, we're not going to be perfect because we're human. It's impossible. You've got to accept that some days it's going to look really messy and other days you're going to feel like you're killing it. And both of those are perfectly okay and perfectly valid. Like
Yeah.
nobody's life looks like Instagram all the time. It's a very curated highlight of somebody's life, and that's what you have to keep reminding yourselves of. And you know, I know you and Jem and me and lots of us try and put out content that can be as balanced as we possibly can, saying, well, I don't always have a good day and this is what I do, but it's still curated, you know.
You're still
It's like,
you're still choosing the bad bits that you
yeah.
share. And I know, like, I've really tried lately to be more balanced, because I was very, I don't know, I became very aware all of a sudden that was I giving a true reflection of what this journey was. And that's why I suddenly was in my pants on Instagram, because one day I was like, actually, if one person looks at my before and after pictures and thinks that there's some kind of airbrushed Brazilian model under my clothes, which I know everyone was thinking. So I was like, I'm going to have to burst this balloon. I was like, I need to be more real, because I think I was getting into a bit of I was looking at my own pictures going like, I want to look like that because I think that looks better than I look. And I know you put out a post today, like I said, that was really honest. And I know even on your stories, you were talking about convention and that kind of worry that you have, and the concerns you have. Do you think because you're on social media, you're more worried about events like that? Because when I watched your stories, I literally thought that's exactly how I felt before the Slimmer Awards. And it was because I was like, people have seen me on here and I want to be that same person that they meet.
Yeah, and I think it's exacerbated by the fact that for 18 months, we haven't seen people. Like you said, you
Yeah.
did your journey remotely. I've only met maybe 3 or 4 consultants in real life. I speak to a lot of other consultants online, like Gemma. I've never met her in real life.
Oh, don't worry, I
Never met
hadn't
in real life.
until 2 weeks ago.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, they get to see me like in Technicolor, like in 360, like, and I don't get to pick the best picture of me. Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they get to
It's
see
really
me.
weird. You
And
do feel very vulnerable, don't you?
yeah. And I think also, like I was saying today, I've never actually gone to an event like that and not felt like the fat girl in the room. And I don't know how to deal with how it's going to be. Like it's such an unknown, because I've never been in this position, and I've never been like, oh, I can choose a really pretty dress and this is going to be great. And you're like, it's a bit even the positive unknown can be a little bit scary sometimes. I think that can also
100%.
happen on your journey. It's why sometimes your journey stalls, because actually the good things that are happening can also feel as scary as the negative things that sometimes happen, you know?
And they can take as much mental work. Like, so when we were at the awards the other week, we got ready and you know, that was fine. I mean, I felt instantly fine around Jeb. I was in my knickers and bra in front of her within an hour.
I
Like
mean, you look bloody cracking, woman.
oh, thank you.
You look amazing.
But do you know what? I felt amazing, but we got out of the room and into the lift, and I could not stop shaking the nerves. And all I felt like was that, you know, that feeling when you try to look good in that bit. And Kate talked about it the other week when she said she went to Ascot and she'd bought like Gucci shoes, she'd bought like an amazing fascinator, but she didn't feel good. And in that moment, I felt really good. But then I had this conflict of like, this is the first time I've ever put an outfit on and felt really good. What's this feeling? I don't know this feeling. I don't know, just feeling really good. And there's going to be all these people and they're all going to see me. And like, it was an amazing moment. But even Jamie was like, you need to calm down. Like, stop being so nervous. Yeah, but it's hard because it's very overwhelming. And I think I'm really glad that people are talking about this on here, because I think there'll be a lot of consultants going to convention that feel like that and feel worried and nervous and are probably scouring for dresses. I feel you. I have been there. I have not looked for a convention dress yet. I am just taking some time to get over the last
Where did you
episode.
get the one you wore for the Women of the Year awards?
Next, that was from. So it was like Next Online do loads of designers, and they do loads on Next Online. So in the end, I got it from there. But that was like a proper, like, when I bought it, I tried it on. I was like, oh my god, like this is the one. Like, this is really nice. But I was so nervous to kind of debut it to everyone. It was amazing, but it's still really, really daunting. And if you're a consultant and you're coming to convention, everyone's feeling the same. Like, we are all feeling it because we've all had that struggle. We all get that struggle of wanting to feel good in something and always just seeing our imperfections and like being like, oh, doesn't sit right, so I look all right, but no one's there to pick each other apart.
No, well, this is it, isn't it? I think we all worry about what other people think in life in general, but generally people are just thinking about how they look. They're not really worried about how you look.
Do you know what I said to my friend the other day? I was like, when you have been fat, you become very narcissistic because all you think about is how you look. You really don't take in a lot of what's going on around you because you're constantly like, do I look okay? Like, you'll go into the bathroom for a wee if you go out for dinner, for example, and you'll want to check yourself and make sure you look all right. Like, you just constantly think about how you look. But like you said, when we're there, no one's going to care. Like, everyone's just going to be like, you look amazing. Like, I remember seeing like Amy and Chloe and being like, oh my God, you're real. Like, and that's what I think it's going to just be lovely to see everyone. Everyone's there with the same goal, the same like ambitions and drives that in life. And I think it would just be lovely. And I just implore everyone, please not to worry about what you look like and just enjoy that time together, because it's to be fun. It's not to worry about how we look.
Amazing. And the one thing to remember as well is that fear and excitement are the same chemical reaction in your body. It's your brain that makes one scary and one exciting. So if you can kind of actively be more aware of how you're feeling when you get those kind of adrenaline rushing through, you can sometimes, you know, switch it from feeling a little bit scared to actually feeling excited. It takes a little bit of work, but it's a good one to remember when we're feeling a bit anxious, to be actually, this is the same feeling you get for excitement. We just need to kind of turn it around a little bit.
And sometimes it's sad to say, but I think sometimes you're not used to feeling excitement. I know I wasn't before. So that's why it was just a really surreal, it does just feel really surreal. And don't forget, like you said, that we haven't been out of the house in like 18 months. So we're going to be kid-free. We're going to be the first time we can let loose.
I know.
It's going to be...
It's going to be messy, Rachel.
Messy. It's going to be messy. But that's fine.
But fun.
Fun. They're messy. Oh, Heidi, I've absolutely adored speaking to you this evening. Like I said, you are such a ray of sunshine in this community, and anyone that doesn't follow Heidi, make sure to go over and give her a follow, and the lovely Now. Just remind us, Heidi, what was the name of your YouTube channel so everyone can go and check out all of your videos?
I think we're just Heidi and Nell now. There's a link in my bio on Instagram.
Oh, there we go. Heidi will be tagged in the description of this video, so go over to her Instagram, follow her, and then jump onto her YouTube channel and catch up on that back catalogue. Like I said, I cannot recommend just absorbing in as much content as possible when you're on plan, because subconsciously it will motivate you even if you don't feel like it is at the time. But Heidi, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your knowledge, your wisdom, your positivity. Thank you so much. If anyone's got any questions...
Thank you for asking me.
Oh, no, like I said, was never even like a second thought. If you do have any questions that we haven't managed to answer, pop them in the description box and me and Heidi can go and answer them over the next couple of days, and this will be fully saved over there within the next 15 minutes or so. So yes, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you all next week.
Thanks,
Bye.
Rachel. Bye.